Hey YouTube, Edward here. Today I want to show you how to create an infolet on the Oracle Sales Cloud homepage. I could have made this a simple short video, but instead I will build an infolet from scratch, with all possible bells and whistles. But before I start, let me show you the end result, so you better understand the different steps I'll be going through whilst building the infolet. This is the Oracle Sales Cloud homepage. The infolets are only one swipe away. Here they are. I see the infolets I have chosen from the role-based Infolet repository. What I will be doing in this video today is adding for my role an infolet to the repository and then add it to the homepage. This first infolet is the one we will be building, a KPI for the open opportunity revenue for the logged in user. But that is not it. Infolets can flip over and show a second KPI. We will add the number of open opportunities for the logged on user. And if you want, you can even expand an infolet to have yet another view on the same type of information. Notice how the title did not change. It is the same for all three views. This implies that the content of the three views needs to be based on the same type of information. But there is more. Let me first go back. I can drill into each view to a more detailed report or dashboard. From here, I can even make a change in the application. Go to the profile page, make a change, save and close, or cancel. And back to the infolets. We don't have to have a back view and an expanded view. We could just make a front view of the infolet and add that to the Sales Cloud homepage. Well, if you've seen my previous videos, you know that I always start off with a base table to be able to inspect the data before I aggregate it into a KPI. So we could start off with building a table, then build a KPI for the front view and put it on the infolet. But we will do it all. We will start off with a base table, then make a front view and a back view, an expanded view, even the detail view, and assemble it all into an infolet on the homepage. One last thing before we get started though. The content for all the views is made using the BI tools in Oracle Sales Cloud. The infolet itself though is being configured in Sales Cloud itself. Let us start with the base table. I must admit I cheated a bit. I actually created it up front. I will add a few links to some of my other videos that explain how to create these kind of tables. And I will add a link that explains how to make sure that I can click on a customer name, an opportunity name, or any other type of record in Sales Cloud and navigate inside the app to make the changes as I showed earlier. A last thing to know about this base table is that it only shows open opportunities as shown by the first filter, and only opportunities for the active logged on user in Sales Cloud. Again, I'll add a link to one of my videos that shows how this is done. So we made the base table for multiple purposes actually. First and for all, to see the raw data, to understand how the filters work, so that I can trust the data before I aggregate it into a performance style. Now when I make these KPIs, I could start all over again, or just copy the existing report and change it. That way my data definition and my filters are 100% identical than the ones used in the base table. I copy, I paste, and I rename my new report. Into edit mode now. For these small infolets, I like using a performance style. And I actually no longer need the table nor the title. If I want to have the table again in order to verify the data, remember, I can always bring it back. Now let's format this performance style. First off, I size it correctly. I'll explain later why I chose these sizes. Now let's make sure it shows the correct measure. As the font size did not show the number of open opportunities, but the open opportunity revenue. Not only do I put a label underneath the value, I always try to be very consistent in my styling. I use the same style for all my performance styles throughout all my reports. This is how I style all my performance styles. And I recommend you find your own style, as having consistent styling adds to the professional look of all your reports and adds to the trustworthiness, as people will understand you've put a lot of effort in it. There is two more things to do. First and for all, as you can see, the value actually doesn't fit the performance style. Let's fix that. I will not make the performance style bigger, but I will compress the values. So instead of it displaying 60,000, it will display 60K. And as I only use a description and not a name, there is some extra white space on top. I can instruct the Infolet to utilize the available space in a more optimized way. Now the content is properly centered on the performance style. And my front view is ready. The back view was almost identical to the front view. It just used a different measure. So instead of copying the base table, I start off by copying the front view. And into edit mode. So I need a second measure. You can use whatever you want, but my second measure has always been there. I already had prepared it in the base table. It was just hidden. And if you did prepare your base table like this, all you need to do is edit the performance style, switch the measure, change the description, and you're done. Remember the expanded view? It was not a KPI. It was a stacked horizontal bar chart. So I start off not by copying the previous views, but by copying the base table. And into edit mode. First, we add the graph. Again, I no longer need my table and my title. And now let's format the graph. Let's first off size this graph again. And as with the front view, I'll explain in a second where these values come from. Now let's edit this view. That is what we wanted. There's still a bit too much text though. It only mentions 1, 2, 3, 4 times it's about open opportunity revenue. Let's clean that up. That's a lot better. And the expanded view is ready. All that is left to do before we can assemble the infolet is create the detail view. The detail view was the big report we drilled into in order to make a change, remember? It was nothing more than a fancy copy of our base table. What was special about it is that it had prompts. And that actually gave away the fact that it wasn't really a report, but a dashboard. A dashboard with dashboard prompts. I will quickly make a dashboard, but I will not go in too much detail, as I'll keep that for a separate episode. So I make a new dashboard. A dashboard is nothing more than a place where we can bring reports together. So let's drag our report onto this dashboard. We also need a dashboard prompt. So let's make that now. We'll pick the same subject area that was used for our base table. Here I can select the columns for which I want to have prompts. We had status name or status, and status was defaulted, if you remember, to only show open opportunities. And we had a prompt for sales stage. And instead of showing them vertically, I want to see them horizontally. Our prompts are ready. Let's save. And add them to the dashboard. Two more things to do. We need to make a few little changes to the detail view itself, and I want to get rid of this box and this collapsible thingy. On the section properties, I can specify I do not want to have this thing collapsible. And under formatting options, I can say I do not want to see the box. There we go. That's a lot better. By the way, at the end, when we assemble the Infolets, you'll see that the report actually looks a little bit different. This is because as soon as I add a report inside Sales Cloud, Sales Cloud will put a styling layer on top of it in order to make it look like Sales Cloud. I don't have to do anything for that here. Now let's make those two changes to our detail view. First of all, this no longer needs to be a list of open opportunities. With the prompt, we can see closed opportunities. So I want to change the title. And the last step is make sure that those prompts actually work. I'll put a link here to another video that explains how these filters work. But basically all I need to do is change this filter that says only open opportunities to something called is prompted, and do the same thing for the sales stage. And now the dashboard should be ready. So let's see if our filters work. Perfect. Now that we have all the needed views, let's assemble the Infolet. And as I said earlier, this is not done in Oracle BI, but in Oracle Sales Cloud directly. First off, I need to be in a sandbox. Second, I need to be able to specify for who we will make this Infolet. For this, in the Settings and Actions menu, I choose Customize Work Area Pages. Here I can specify whether the Infolet is for partners or the internal sales force, for a specific role like sales rep or sales manager, or just for everybody. Let's go with this for the moment. From here we navigate to the Infolets. Now don't get confused here. You don't see the same Infolets as earlier on for the same user. That is because initially I saw all the Infolets that Lisa Jones was allowed to see. As I'm in designer mode now, and I chose to see site level Infolets only, I see those site level Infolets that Lisa Jones is allowed to see, not the other ones that she might have gotten through roles. Let me first delete the Infolet I showed earlier, and then we can recreate it. In the Infolet repository, we now have a new option, Create an Infolet. Here I can specify a title. I can specify whether I want a front view and what size. A back view of the same size. And an expanded view. And I specify the size I was planning to use. One last thing on these dimensions though. Remember how I hard-coded the width and the height of each of the views in Oracle BI? That has to do with the size of these dimensions. They are hard-coded also. In order to avoid scroll bars on your Infolets, for each of the sizes you can use, here are some guidelines on the height and the width that you should be using on your views in Oracle BI. Now my Infolet is ready. All that's left to do is put something on it. I navigate to my reports. And on the front view, we will put the front view. and we just keep on adding content. On the back view, and on the expanded view, the expanded view. Last thing to do for each of the views is add a drill down. I will only do this for the front view in this example. From this little pop-up menu, I can choose Link Detailed Report. And again, I can add content here. And here is my dashboard. All that is left to do is to finish up. We leave the page composer. We can do some testing. Notice, by the way, how the other infolets have come back. Now I'm no longer in the page composer and no longer looking at just the site level infolets. And once I'm completely happy, all that's left to do is publish the sandbox and have everybody enjoy a new infolet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something from it. And if you did so, please subscribe or give me a like. Leave some comments. And I hope to see you soon for another episode. Ciao.